Hi, it's Sue. Thanks for joining me for today's Bible reading. I'm reading for August 21st, Jeremiah 32 to 34. And you might have heard me talk yesterday when we started about listening, if you're listening, or reading, if you're reading, with your analytical eyes and ears on. So not just kind of passively listening, but actively listening or reading. And I had just another brief thought about that. When I started reading my Bible, I really didn't have any training in analysis. And now I tutor online for scholarly writing, and that includes a lot of analysis type essays and um, arguments and even other types of scholarly writing. You still have to think analytically and poetry, that kind of thing, drama. So, but when I started reading the Bible, I didn't understand that. And when I finally ended up studying those things, I had such an easier time of it because I had just learned by reading my Bible to think that way, to look at written works that way, to, kind of read it like you're searching for gems. When you look at poetry or any kind of analysis, you really break it down, especially poetry. You break down each word, and it's ridiculous how it's like taking your surgical tools and going in there and taking it apart. Like how people who like electronics like to take an old radio apart, see what's in it, put it back together. It's that kind of thing with writing. And so it's funny that just reading my Bible every day, I used to read the 1 year Bible all the time for years, um, how that taught me that practice. And so now I can teach it to my students because I understand it. So that's the way that we want to listen to or read our Bible when we're reading it. Even if we're not doing it for study, you still want to have those same, analytical glasses on when you're looking at the word. So let's go here, 32 verse 1. This is the word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh in the 10th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, which was the 8th year of Nebuchadnezzar. Now at that time, the king of Babylon's army was besieging Jerusalem. Jeremiah the prophet was shut up in the court of the guard, which was in the king of Judah's house. And again, these stories, bits of these stories are in other parts of the word, including, I believe, this part about Jeremiah being locked up. I think that's somewhere else because the reason I think that I have a visual picture of it, and I think I got that from elsewhere, but maybe it was just my imagination. I don't know. But the point is, you can get details of these from different parts and put a bigger picture together. So, verse 3. Zedekiah king of Judah had shut him up, saying, What do you prophesy and say? Yahweh says, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will take it. So they didn't want him saying that, even though it's true. Even though God was telling Jeremiah to say these things, it made him mad. And you can understand it because the king's responsibility was to protect their realm. What are they going to say? Oh, okay, we'll just give up then. But that's exactly what God was telling him to do: surrender to Babylon. So let me go on here. Um, Zedekiah, king of Judah. So he's saying, why do you say that Zedekiah, king of Judah, won't escape out of the hand of the Chaldeans, but will surely be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon? Chaldeans and Babylon, you can kind of use that interchangeably, so don't get mixed up. But into the hand of the king of Babylon, and will speak with him mouth to mouth, and his eyes will see his eyes, and he will bring Zedekiah to Babylon, and he will be there until I visit him, says Yahweh. Though you fight with the Chaldeans, you will not prosper. Jeremiah said, Yahweh's word came to me, saying, Behold, Hananel, the son of Shallum, your uncle, will come to you, saying, Buy my field that is in Anathoth, for the right of redemption is yours to buy it. So Hananel, my uncle's son, came to me in the court of the guard, according to Yahweh's word, and said to me, Please buy my field that is in Anathoth, which is in the land of Benjamin, for the right of inheritance is yours, and the redemption is yours. Buy it yourself. Then I knew that this was Yahweh's word. I bought the field that was in Anathoth of Hananel my uncle's son, and weighed him the money, even 17 shekels of silver. I signed the deed. Let's see how much those shekels are. So that's about 10 grams of silver. I signed the deed, sealed it, called witnesses, and weighed the money and the balances to him. So I took the deed of the purchase, both that which was sealed containing the terms and conditions, and that which was open, and I delivered the deed of the purchase to Baruch, son of Neriah, the son of Maaseiah, in the presence of Hanamel, my uncle's son, and in the presence of witnesses who signed the deed of the purchase before all the Jews who sat in the court of the guard. I commanded Baruch before them, saying, I think Baruch might have been his scribe too. So it kind of sounds like it's his assistant. Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, says, take these deeds, this deed of purchase which is sealed, and this deed which is open, and put them in an earthen vessel that they may last many days. For Yahweh of armies says, the God of Israel says, houses and fields and vineyards will yet again be bought in this land. Now after I had delivered the deed of purchase to Baruch the son of Neriah, I prayed to Yahweh, saying, Ah, Lord Yahweh, behold, you have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and by your outstretched arm. That's another song, by the way, a modern song that was made with those lyrics. There is nothing too hard for you. You show loving kindness to thousands and repay the iniquity of the fathers into the bosom of their children after them. The great and the mighty God, Yahweh of armies, is your name, great in counsel and mighty in work, whose eyes are open to all the ways of the children of men, to give everything according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings, who performed signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, even to this day, both in Israel and among other men, and made yourself a name, as it is today. Now the prayer goes on, but I want to stop and say, Jeremiah had quite a relationship with God, an intimate one. So we could take notes from this prayer. How did Jeremiah pray? What was his relationship like? Um, so he said, and brought your people Israel out of the land of Egypt with signs and wonders, with a strong hand and an outstretched arm, and with great terror, and gave them this land which you swore to their fathers to give them, a land flowing with milk and honey. They They came in and possessed it, but they didn't obey your voice and didn't walk in your law. They have done nothing of all that you have commanded them to do. Therefore, you have caused all this evil to come upon them. So he's putting things in perspective, right? Reviewing the past, reminding the Lord says to put him in remembrance of his word. So he's remembering how the history went. And also, I love how it says, you brought your people out of the land of Egypt with strong signs and wonders, and even it says great terror. It reminds me of him like just ripping them out of there away from the evil that was being done from them and like really jerking the sock out of Pharaoh, right? Took him out, put him in their land, and it's like, okay, wake everybody up. This God really is God of the universe. And hello, better straighten up. So anyway, he does what he wants, and he put Israel in their land, and then they rebel. Verse 24, behold, siege ramps have come to the city to take it. The city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans who fight against it because of the sword, of the famine, and the pestilence. What you have spoken has happened. Of course it did. Behold, you see it. You have said to me, Lord Yahweh, buy the field for money and call witnesses, whereas the city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah. So, okay, I'm getting that when he told him to go do that deal, it was a prophetic picture. Just one of the ways that God would use the prophets, they would act out something. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like he had him do that deed as a picture of this deed of land, either transferring hands to the Babylonians or as a sign that they would come back to the land later. I think that's what it was because it said there will be land still bought here later. I'm not sure. I guess I only have a little picture of that right now, but I know that was some kind of prophetic picture there with him going and taking his right of inheritance to that land, the right of purchase, putting the documents away. I guess he put them in a jar or something and buried them. I'm not sure, to preserve them. That was a prophetic act. So, we're going to leave off. It says, here we go. Verse 26. Then Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, saying, behold, I am Yahweh, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? Therefore Yahweh says, behold, I will give the city into the hand of the Chaldeans and into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and he will take it. The Chaldeans who fight against the city will come and set the city on fire and burn it with the houses on whose roofs they have offered incense to Baal and poured out drink offerings to other gods to provoke me to anger. So it's almost like when they sacrifice incense to Baal, they were putting a big red X on their house. Curse come here, because that's what he's saying. He's saying they're going to come and burn the houses on whose roofs they had offered incense to Baal. Verse 30. For the children of Israel and the children of Judah have done only that which was evil in my sight from their youth. For the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, says Yahweh. For this city has been to me a provocation of my anger and of my wrath from the day that they built it even to this day, so that I should remove it from before my face, because of all the evil of the children of Israel and of the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger. They, their kids, their princes, their priests, their prophets, the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, they have turned their backs to me and not their faces. Although I have taught them, rising up early and teaching them, yet they have not listened to receive instruction. But they set their abominations in the house which is called by my name to defile it. They built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire to Molech, which I didn't command them. Pass through the fire means they sacrificed them on the fire. It didn't even come to my mind that they should do this abomination to cause Judah to sin. Now therefore Yahweh the God of Israel says concerning this city about which you say it is given into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence. Behold, I will gather them out of all the countries where I have driven them in my anger, and in my wrath, and in great indignation I will bring them again to this place. I will cause them to dwell safely. Then they will be my people, and I will be their God. I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for their good, and the good of their children after them. I will make an everlasting covenant with them, that I will not turn away from following them to do good. I will put my fear in their hearts, that they may not depart from me. Yes, I will rejoice over them to do good, and I will plant them in this land assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul. For Yahweh says, just as I have brought all this evil on this people, so I will bring on them all the good that I have promised them. Fields will be bought in this land about which you say it is desolate, without man or animal, it is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Men will buy fields for money, sign deeds, seal them, and call witnesses in the land of Benjamin, and in the places around Jerusalem, in the cities of Judah, in the cities of the hill country, in the cities of the lowland, and in the cities of the south, where I will cause their captivity to be reversed. Chapter 33. Excuse me. Moreover, says Yahweh. No, excuse me. Moreover, Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah the second time, while he was still locked up in the court of the guard, saying, Yahweh who does it, Yahweh who forms it to establish it, Yahweh is his name, says, call to me and I will answer you and will show you great and difficult things which you don't know. For Yahweh the God of Israel says concerning the houses of this city, and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which are broken down to make a defense against the mounds and against the sword, while men come to fight with the Chaldeans, and to fill them with the dead bodies of men, whom I have killed in my anger and in my wrath, and for all whose wickedness I have hidden my face from this city. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and I will reveal to them abundance and peace and truth. I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and I will build them as at the first. I will cleanse them from all their iniquity by which they have sinned against me. I will pardon all their iniquities by which they have sinned against me, and by which they have transgressed against me. This city will be for me a name of joy, for praise, and for glory, before all the nations of the earth, which will hear all the good that I do to them, and will fear and tremble for all the good and for all the peace that I provide to it. Yahweh says, yet again there will be heard in this place, about which you say, it is waste, without man and without animal, even the cities of Judah and the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate, without man and without inhabitant, without animal. The voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of those who say, give thanks to Yahweh of armies, for Yahweh is good, for his loving kindness endures forever, who bring thanksgiving into Yahweh's house, for I will cause the captivity of the land to be reversed as at the first, says Yahweh. Yeah, look at Israel now. They are flourishing now. Verse 12. Yahweh of armies says, yet again there will be in this place which is waste, without man and without animal, in all its cities, a habitation of shepherds causing the flocks to lie down. In the cities of the hill country, in the cities of the lowland, in the cities of the south, in the land of Benjamin, in the places around Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, the flocks will again pass under the hands of him who counts them, says Yahweh. Behold, The days come, says Yahweh, that I will perform that good word which I have spoken concerning the house of Israel and concerning the house of Judah. In those days and at that time I will cause a branch, capital B, of righteousness to grow up to David. He will execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days Judah will be saved and Jerusalem will dwell safely. This is the name by which she will be called, Yahweh our righteousness. For Yahweh says, David will never lack a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel. The Levitical priests won't lack a man before me to offer burnt offerings, to burn meal offerings, and to do sacrifice continually. Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, saying, Yahweh says, if you can break my covenant of the day and my covenant of the night, so that there will not be day and night in their time, then my covenant could also be broken with David my servant, that he won't have a son to reign on his throne, and with the Levites, the priests, my ministers. As the army of the sky can't be counted, and the sand of the sea can't be measured, so I will multiply the offspring of David my servant and the Levites who minister to me. There's that fruitful and multiply principle again. God wants multiplication of his people. 23. Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah, saying, Don't consider what this people has spoken, saying, Has Yahweh cast off 2 families which he chose? Thus they despise my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Yahweh says, if my covenant of day and night fails, if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then I will also cast away the offspring of Jacob and of David my servant, so that I will not take of his offspring to be rulers over the offspring of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to be reversed, and will have mercy on them. Chapter 34. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, when Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon with all his army, all the kingdoms of the earth that were under his dominion, and all the peoples were fighting against Jerusalem and against all its cities, saying, Yahweh the God of Israel says, Go and speak to Zedekiah king of Judah and tell him, Yahweh says, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he will burn it with fire. You won't escape out of his hand, but will surely be taken and delivered into his hand. Your eyes will see the eyes of the king of Babylon, but he will speak with you mouth to mouth. You will go to Babylon. And indeed, Jerusalem did burn with fire. Verse 4. Yet hear Yahweh's word, O Zedekiah, king of Judah. Yahweh says concerning you, you won't die by the sword. You will die in peace, and with the burnings of your fathers, the former kings who were before you. So they will make a burning for you. They will lament you, saying, O Lord, for I have spoken the word, says Yahweh. Then Jeremiah the prophet spoke all these words to Zedekiah, king of Judah in Jerusalem. When the king of Babylon's armies was fighting against Jerusalem, and against all the cities of Judah that were left, against Lachish and against Azekah, for these alone remained in the cities of Judah as fortified cities. The word came to Jeremiah from Yahweh the word came to Jeremiah from Yahweh after the king Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people who were at Jerusalem to proclaim liberty to them, that every man should let his male servant and every man his female servant, who is a Hebrew or Hebrewess, go free, that no one should make bondservants of them, of a Jew his brother. All the princes and all the people obeyed, who had entered into the covenant, that every one should let his male servant, and every one his female servant go free, that no one should make bondservant of them any more. They obeyed and let them go. But afterwards they turned and caused the servants and the handmaids whom they had let go free to return, and brought them into subjection for servants and handmaids. Therefore Yahweh's word came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Yahweh the God of Israel says, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, saying, At the end of 7 years every man of you shall release his brother who is Hebrew, who has been sold to you, and has served you 6 years. You shall let him go free, but your fathers don't listen to me, and didn't incline their ear. You had now turned, and had done that which is right in my eyes, and every man proclaiming liberty to his neighbor. You had made a covenant before me in the house which is called by my name, but you turned and profaned my name, and every man caused his servant and every man his handmaid, whom you had let go free at their pleasure, to return. You brought them into subjection to be to you, and for servants and for handmaids. Therefore Yahweh says, You have not listened to me to proclaim liberty, every man to his brother and every man to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim to you a liberty, says Yahweh, to the sword, to the pestilence, and to the famine. I will make you be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth. I will give the men who have transgressed my covenant, they would not perform the words of the covenant which they made before me, when they cut the calf in two and passed between its parts. The princes of Judah, the princes of Jerusalem, the eunuchs, the priests, and all the people of the land who passed between the parts of the calf, I will even give them into the hand of their enemies and into the hand of those who seek their life. Their dead bodies will be food for the birds of the sky and for the animals of the earth. I will give Zedekiah king of Judah and his princes into the hands of their enemies, into the hands of those who seek their life, and into the hands of the king of Babylon's army, who has gone away from you. Behold, I will command, says Yahweh, and cause them to return to this city. They will fight against it, take it, and burn it with fire. I will make the cities of Judah a desolation without habitation. And that's the end of today's reading. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye bye.